What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy, Leo Huntsman, coming at you today with 1911s. Or a 1911 anyway. This one's going to be a 1911 video. Disassembly and reassembly without dummy scratching the frame. I've cut this video before, but it's probably way buried in my stuff. So coming back at you, we're going to recut this video. And there's something that I wanted to point out in this video as well. Also, the lighting in here sucks. And the 1911 gods said, "Let there be light." That couldn't have worked out any more perfect. So, let's get into it. What's going on, guys? So, I'm going to show you guys a couple things on this 1911. If you're here just for the disassembly, good news, because that's where we're starting. First things first, you always check and make sure that your 1911 is clear. I know this one's clear because I've retooken this video like 7 times. Just can't seem to get it right. You're going to need a couple things. 1, you're going to need a 1911 that's preferably legally owned. 2, you're going to need to make sure that sucker is clear. And then, so this is where we're going to start. So, unless you have a high-end 1911, like an expensive 1911, you shouldn't need a bushing wrench. So where we're gonna start is there's a cap over the mainspring right here, and that bushing sits over it. You're gonna push down on that spring. That bushing is gonna turn all like 90 degrees to one side to allow this loose. Do not let that go Mach 5 or you'll be chasing it. Okay, so now all the tension is off this slide. This bushing will now spin the other way through the spring. If you have to wiggle the spring a little bit to get it through, sometimes you do. That bushing, and sometimes you got to jiggle the slide a little bit. That bushing will quarter turn back the other way. And that's what will allow it to release off the barrel. Ta-da! So now we have a tension-free 1911. So you see there's a little dot right here. Once we get everything lined up, we will be pushing that dot. That is the other side of the lighting's terrible. This slide latch on the left side. So what you need to do is you have a notch for your lock back and you have a takedown notch. That takedown notch is very, very small and is slightly rounded. That's your takedown notch. So what you're going to do is you're going to line that takedown notch. These can be finicky. You're going to line that takedown notch up with your slide lock lever. You're going to push the other side. Sometimes they come out a little stiff. And boom. There it is. Ta-da. There's a bare frame. And there's a bare slide. Well, not quite bare. Still got to get all the components out. So, this is your spring and bushing and your barrel. So what you want to do is you want to pick this up, slide it out of there, and then this is how your barrel comes out. So you're going to flip this latch down and slide that barrel right forward. And it's going to slide right out of the front of that slide. It's going to slide out the slide, man. There we go. Fully field stripped 1911. So this was some problem areas I wanted to show you guys about. So I took this apart earlier just to check it out. And I noticed on the feed ramp. See that feed ramp right there? I noticed on the feed ramp, for one, it has some pitting. Just really rough shots. Probably steel cased ammo was put through it, to be 100% honest with you. This is looks like it's been polished before, because I've never had any issues running like hollow points and stuff. But with that being stated, when they get pitting and stuff, they tend to get rust inside the pitting. So I just cleaned that up and oiled it, because I don't shoot this often anymore. Honestly, this was the first handgun that I had ever purchased, and so it does have sentimental value to me. So it does sit in a case most of the time. So that, and if that's pitting, you kind of want to take a look. Your barrel doesn't have a feed ramp, but it will get some wear down in here. So that's another thing you want to make sure of. Check to make sure there's no rust spots in there. So that being said, now we get to put this sucker back together, which it's easy, unless you try not to dummy scratch it, which those were from my beginning years of being the first pistol I ever owned. It's a beauty mark, that's all. So where we're gonna start with the slide. We're gonna put the barrel back together. Okay. So your barrel goes in the exact same way it came out. Make sure your latch is down. Your little flipper. Okay, goes right in. It goes right to the back. Boom. Just like that. Then you want to take this flipper and flip it up. Now, this is the ideal spot right here. You don't want it all the way back. You want it right here. Okay? Because there's a reason for that. So we're going to put our spring back in. Our spring does not go through the front. It goes through the back side. So slide our spring back in. Now, you see how I accidentally flipped that latch down? This latch wants to be up. You want to set your spring bushing back. And then that latch has to sit up like this. Because this is where your slide lock slides through to lock the barrel into the frame. Okay? We on the same page? Now this is a little bit easier to do. You want to make sure your hammer is back or you'll be fighting with it. So I always hold it upside down. So get your rails sliding in right. Your spring will try to fight you a little bit there. This is probably going to flop back on you. We can get it straight after we get this back together. Okay. So what we want to do, and this is kind of going to be hard to get on tape, but first things first, you want to get that latch spot lined back up with where the takedown lever goes. So that way everything's lined up where it's supposed to be. Okay. Like that. Now we want to make sure this latch on the inside is sitting perfectly inside this hole right here. So you'll have to mess with it a little bit to get it where you need it. Sometimes you gotta tap it a little bit. If it's close, it'll wiggle its way in, which is fine. But so this is where typically you would put that slide latch in all the way and then move it up, and that's where you get these scratches here. You want to avoid that. So this is how we're gonna avoid it. So we put it in almost completely straight. See how that wiggled and locked in? Okay, so where were we? So you do not want this rubbing up against the side of this frame. And there is a spring and little cap right here. So what you're gonna do is you have to come in and then push and lift up, or just push in, depending. There we go. You'll kind of feel it, But the last thing you want to do is put it down here, push all the way in, and slide it, grind it up. You will know if this slide latch pinned this barrel in when you pull this forward. If you didn't, the slide will come right back off. And then you got to start over with putting the slide back on, lining that latch up, and then getting this slide latch in. So now she's back together-ish. So you're going to come in, put that bushing on the quarter turn. So for mine, it's a quarter turn towards me. Pop that down, and then you're going to turn it all the way sideways. It's still locked, but it's turned sideways to clear this spring cap. Then you put this spring cap in, push it all the way down, and then spin that bushing on exactly like that, so it's locked on. Then I give it a rack or two. That's just me, you don't have to rack it, but that is how you field strip a 1911 and put it back together without dummy scratching. And while you're in there, there's a couple areas that I've ran into issues with rust before. This is a full steel frame and steel slide, so yeah, it's got some weight to it, but obviously they are blued, but obviously they're apt to rust. I've ran into issues with Rock Island, brand new Rock Islands. When you take the grip screw out, I've ran into issues that must have caught a leak somewhere, and it was inside the frame, down in here, this area right here, like right in here. It was rusted. I had to strip the bluing to get the rust off, and then re-blue it, obviously. One, so it matched, but two, so it was blued. But it was the inside, but still, I don't like rust on my guns. I'm very, very anal when it comes to that stuff. So, look at that beautiful piece of history. Good old Rock Island. Look, she's even got the 1911 rattle. So, this has been Huntsman 32. Great to see you guys. I'll catch you in the next one.